Reproduction is the process by which an organism produces its own kind to continue its existence. There are two types of reproduction, asexual and sexual. The organs involved in this process of reproduction constitutes a system known as reproductive system. Today in this video we are going to learn about the human reproductive system. So let's get started. Before starting, please like and subscribe to my educational channel so that you get notified with my newest videos whenever I upload. And don't forget to click the bell icon. So let's get started. There are two types of reproduction system in animals. Number one is the asexual reproduction. This is a type of reproduction by which offspring arise from a single organism and inherit the genes of that parent only. For example, bacteria divide asexually via binary fission. Viruses used host cell to produce more viruses, and hydras produced by budding. In other words, these organisms are asexual, that is, they do not identify as male or female. This process does not involve the fusion of gametes, and the number of chromosomes almost remain the same. Therefore, they are capable of cloning or splitting themselves into another organisms. The second one is the sexual reproduction. It requires the interaction between two organisms or two parents to produce an offspring. Production or reproduction occurs due to the reunion or union of morphologically distinct male and female gametes to form a zygote. The human reproductive system in humans is a combination of male and female reproductive systems and requires the participation of both. The reproductive process involves three stages: production of sperm and semen in the male reproductive system, depositing the sperm in the vaginal canals, fertilization and gestation in the female reproductive system. The gestation period lasts for 7 to 9 months, after which a baby is born. During the gestational period, the fetus is protected and nourished till birth by the mother. Then the entire cycle begins again. The offspring or the baby grows and reaches puberty when he or she starts becoming reproductively mature. Eventually, he or she grows into an adult and mingles with another adult to create life. In this lesson, you will learn about the human reproductive systems in details. There are special terms associated with human reproductive system. The first one is the spermatogenesis. The process of reproduction of sperms in the gonads of males is known as spermatogenesis. Next is oogenesis. The process of reproduction of eggs in the gonads of females is known as oogenesis. Next is accessory reproductive parts. This includes all the organs of bodies that are a part of reproduction process, and they will help with the transfer, meeting of two kinds of sex cells, fertilization, growth and development of the eggs, and the birth of the baby. Next is the puberty, the period during which immature reproductive system of boys and girls attain maturity and become capable of reproduction. In boys, the change of voice and discharge of semen indicate the onset of puberty. In girls, the onset of menses, appearance of mammary glands and widening of the hips are the signs of puberty. Next is menarche, the onset of menstruation in a young female at about the age of 13 years. Next is menopause, the permanent cessation or stop of menstruational cycle that marks the end of the reproductive stage of the female. These are the terms which are strictly associated with human reproductive system. The male reproductive system located in the pelvic region. The male reproductive system consists of testes, ducts, accessory glands, and supportive structures. In males, only the gonads are capable of producing gametes, while the secondary sexual characters are not reproductive parts. A mixture of the sperm and the secretion of the accessory glands in the male reproductive system constitutes of the semen. Semen and sperms are not the same. Since a high temperature in our bodies does not allow for the maturation of sperms, the testis is suspended in the scrotal sac to escape excess body heat. The female reproductive system located in the pelvic region. The female reproductive system consists of ovaries, oviduct, uterus, vagina, and external genitalia. The female accessory ducts that includes oviducts, uterus, and the vagina support the process of reproduction through ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, and childbirth. Ovulation is a process when the egg is released into the oviducts. Ovulation occurs in the middle of the menstrual cycle and not simultaneously along with menstruation, which is a common misconception. Humans reproduce sexually and the fertilization happens internally. Sperms are released in the reproductive tract of a female where one of the sperm fuses with the ovum to form a zygote. The zygote develops into an embryo which gets attached to the endometrial wall of the uterus. This process is called implantation. After the gestation period of 9 months, females give birth to a baby. The sex of a baby is determined by a type of sex chromosome present in the male sperm only. To check the rapidly using or rising population, it is essential to control birth by using various birth control methods. The fusion of sperm with an egg is called fertilization and is the first step in the process of reproduction. During this process, the sperm penetrates the nucleus of the egg to form a single nucleus called the zygote. Since the sperm is donated by the father and the egg is by the mother, the newborn inherits characters from both the parents. Fertilization can be of two types, internal and external. Internal fertilization takes place inside the female body. For example, humans, cows, dogs, pigeons, etc. External fertilization, commonly found in aquatic animals. Fertilization takes place outside the body of the female. The female lays its eggs in the water and the male lays its sperm over the eggs. Fertilization occurs when the sperm and the eggs meet. For example, frog and fish. Fertilization is the union of a male gamete with a female gamete to form the zygote. Implantation is the process by which the fertilized egg fixes itself to the wall of the uterus within 5 to 7 days after ovulation is called implantation. Blastocyst is the small hollow ball of numerous cells formed by the division of the zygote. Embryo is an organism that is in the early stage of the growth of differentiation. In humans, the embryo stage is from fertilization to the beginning of the 3rd month of the pregnancy, whereas the fetus, the unborn young of a viviparous vertebrate having a basic structural resemblance to the adult animal. The process of fertilization includes the most important part of the sexual reproduction, where the male gamete or the sperm penetrates the female gamete or the ovum to form a zygote. In humans, the sperm is motile and the ovum is non-motile. Hence, for fertilization to occur, the two gametes must be brought together. This happens with insemination, with a male releases sperm into the female's vaginal canal. Only the healthy and strong sperm are able to swim up and reach the oviduct, while the rest die in the way. If there is an egg in the oviduct, the sperm penetrates it. The sperm and the egg nucleus fuses to form a diploid zygote. After fertilization, the zygote divides to form a several-celled embryo which is implanted in the uterus and eventually develops into the fetus. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube and then the fertilized egg travels down the uterus. It is wrongly believed that fertilization takes place in the uterus. Even though sperm remain alive in the female genital passage for a few days, their fertilizing power does not extend it beyond a day or two. Millions of sperm may be released into the vagina, but only one sperm can fertilize the egg. The ovum creates a protective layer after fertilization to prevent the entry of other sperms. Once fertilization occurs, the other sperm dies and disintegrates. The period immediately after ovulation is the most favorable period for conception to occur. The zygote undergoes mitotic division and form a blastocyst, in which in turn form a pit in the endometrium cell and gets fixed into it about 5 to 7 days after ovulation. This process is called implantation and results in pregnancy. Placenta is a flattened circular organ in the uterus of pregnant eutherian mammals that nourishes and maintains fetus through the umbilical cord. It is composed of blood capillaries, villi, connecting tissues, and endocrinal cells. It is formed by union of endometrial tissues, chorion, and allantois, which is the embryonic tissue. How is the fetus maintained in the uterus? The placenta attached to the wall of the uterus supplies nutrients, hormones, respiratory gases, and urea from the mother to the fetus. The blood of the fetus comes into close contact but never mingles with the blood of the mother. Fetal membranes. The fetus is surrounded by 3 membranes that carry out specific functions and protect the fetus. They are amnion. The amniotic fluid fills the space between the embryo and the amnion and acts as a shock absorber and provides a stable environment for the fetus. Next one is the chorion. The chorion forms the placenta and promotes metabolic exchange between the mother and the fetus. Allantoin. This helps in the formation of umbilical uterus or arteries and veins. Single and double placenta. Identical twins are formed when a fertilized egg accidentally splits into 2 halves and each develops into a new individual. Identical twins will share a common placenta and will resemble each other. Parental twins are just like siblings who have been born together with different placenta and separate sac.